Hi, this is Jeff Blauette, technical agronomist with Cooperative Farmers Elevator, and on this week's Field Friday segment, kind of wanted to talk about something I touched on last year a little bit, but talk a little bit more about the short-statured corn that's being worked on right now. Bayer has been working on it for a number of years we've known about. Actually, Corteva has also been working on it, and we've been seeing more from both entities on what their short corn looks like and kind of where they're thinking they might go. A lot doesn't yet to be determined. It's not something you can go out and buy yet today, but it is kind of interesting to look at. I have a plot here where we have some side by side. Just wanted to kind of show you what we're looking at as far as, so what is it really, how does it stack up and how does it get here? The short corn, if you look at this, I can touch the top of the tassel. I'm 6 foot tall with short little arms, so it's not very tall. And if I look at this short corn, that last flag leaf, the last leaf before the tassel, is kind of about my chin height to my nose, somewhere in there. If I look at this hybrid next to us, I have, if you can see it all, this is where my chin is. If I break it off, you've got, about 30 inches more plant height. In general, is about how much taller it is. This is a medium tall. It's not a real short hybrid, but it's not. We've got taller stuff that that we work with too. But just as a scale, that's what we're kind of seeing out here. The short corn that's being developed in this Precion system with Bayer, the nodes below the ear is where that shortness happens. They don't elongate as much at the base of the plant up to the ear. In this particular field, the ear height right now is about 30 inches, so it's pretty low. Whereas opposed to this hybrid, if I kind of do the measurements on it, it's about a little over 4 feet tall to the base of the ear placement. So that's kind of the stature difference in what we see here. It's kind of interesting if you think about, a couple of the concepts are agronomic. If you think about how much less wind a plant like this is going to catch versus what this will catch, from a wind lodging from either roots or stalks, that's an interesting differentiation. Kind of one of the things that you'll be able to consider looking at as an agronomic benefit. The stalk diameter is quite a bit more impressive on the short-statured corn. It's a really robust stalk, so that'll obviously be stronger during the season for wind lodging. Their expectation is a lot less risk of green snap potentially, as opposed to the regular hybrid. So there's some agronomics. We've seen plenty of wind the last number of years. Actually, what's kind of gotten a lot of the focus attention on the short corn is the derecho that went through central Iowa a number of years back here now. A lot of those plots that were out in fields, the only corn that stood in the neighborhood was the plots that they had out, the real small plots of the shorter statured corn. So, and it kind of seems like we're getting more and more of those types of storm causing some wind damage. So it has been very interesting. This is the first time we've been able to get this in like a Smart Stacks trait. Last year we could get it out, and we had some that was basically a double pro, so it was tolerant to Roundup. The versions that were available before were conventional corn, so they weren't nearly as widely tested or easily accessible because they were still in development, obviously, but it's harder to find places where you can deal with non-Roundup tolerant hybrids. So it's gotten a lot more acres around that we can see. So it is interesting. One of the benefits that are out there as well is, with corn that's this tall, you might be able to apply like a fungicide application, for instance. If you have your own self-propelled machine, a lot of those machines might be able to get a boom high enough to take care of this if you wanted to, instead of using an airplane. So there's some agronomic benefits, in-season applications of additional nitrogen and those kind of things. It does bring some of those a little easier to access with normal machines as opposed to more expensive application methods. So we'll be continuing to look at this. We have a couple of plots this year. This plot, we're looking at some different populations. We also have some fungicide work that we're doing on another short corn plot. So we have some exposure, and it's kind of neat to see it'll be something that's coming down the road from a couple of our key manufacturers or suppliers, you might say, from a seed perspective. So it's not going to fit for everybody. We have some discussions on silage and corn stalk bales, all those kinds of things, and they may not be as different as you think, but we're doing some testing, so we'll have some data on that here as we go forward for that. So just wanted to bring you up to speed a little bit on where we're at, what we're seeing with some of this newer technology, and something we may be able to utilize in the near future. With that, that's this week's Field Friday segment, and we'll see you next week.